let me know if you can see and hear me okay. This is going to be a group energy healing where I heal 138 people in 9 different countries. And the theme of this healing and all the healings this month will be heal heart fatigue and increase enthusiasm and motivation. So I'm going to start explaining the theme, but if you could let me know if you can see and hear me okay, that would be helpful. So what is heart fatigue? Heart fatigue is a term I made up. Thank you for my confirmation. I appreciate it. But it's a good term, I think, heart fatigue. It means like, a little heaviness in your chest, which could be because you had pizza when you shouldn't have, all the dairy. Or it could just mean like a little bit of a weariness that you feel. So not necessarily physical fatigue, but more like emotional, just feeling a little discouraged, and it can be very subconscious, you can teach yourself how to just tune it out and not pay attention to it, which, may or may not be a good thing because then you don't address it. But, so it just, like you're just not, well, maybe if I explain some of the causes of it, then that would help too. So some of the causes of heart fatigue can be if you crave something that you aren't receiving. And so like on an emotional level or a longing, longing is a word that's used to describe sometimes craving on an emotional level, or longing can be sexual or sensual. You're longing for a different type of contact with people. But it can be other unsatisfied desires as well. Maybe you want to, go and walk outside, but you work indoors all day or something, so there can be a lot of causes for heart fatigue, and some of them big and some of them small, but they can kind of add up. It is possible, though, there's always good news in energy healing. It is possible to clear your heart fatigue or to nourish yourself to the point where you've reduced it greatly. But then, life can happen and you have more heart fatigue, so then you reduce it again. So it's not like a one and done thing where now I'm never going to have heart fatigue in my whole life. So, it's a good skill to be able to, be aware of it and figure out things to do about it. So obviously we're going to have some nice energy healing techniques to help address it. But maybe along the way, we'll talk about some physical plane things that might help you a little bit with heart fatigue, like, nurturing type behaviors usually. People can get into unhealthy behaviors trying to address their heart fatigue or their craving or their longing. Probably the most stereotypical one is like overeating, too much comfort eating, or maybe over purchasing things, like commercialism, just thinking, well, if I get a new car, then I'll feel better. If I get a nicer, bigger house, then I'll feel better. And, it doesn't really work because that wasn't actually the problem. So there's a lot of like misidentifying the problem. So the good news is you don't really have to identify the causes of your heart fatigue in order to address it with energy healing. So that's nice. And self-nurturing too. You don't really have to know where your heart fatigue is coming from. But we will be bringing up different reasons why you might have heart fatigue as we have the different techniques to address them. So that's good. And then So I would say the healing is in 3 parts today, roughly, sort of thematically. I mean, of course, there's the foundational 5 essentials that we'll do at the start of the healing, grounding, aura repair, chakra repair, creative ring repair, and good karma window repair, base of skull point repair, back of head type stuff behind the head. So those are the 5 essentials, of course, but then change the heading. Wow, there's 4 parts to the healing, I guess. So, okay. So as I just explained, the first part of the healing is the part we always do, the 5 essentials part, grounding, aura repair, chakra repair, creative ring repair, and then good karma windows, base of skull points, yada yada, right back here behind the head stuff. So those are the 5 essentials, which of course we'll do, which help in all sorts of ways. But then the theme related stuff, two of the 3 theme related sections will directly address heart fatigue, which I already explained what that is, what heart fatigue is, and some causes. So 2 of the sections will directly address that. And then one of the sections will be more centered around motivation and enthusiasm. I mean, enthusiasm, I think, might pick up just by us addressing heart fatigue, and healing that. Then the enthusiasm might come in only from that. But the motivation tends to be more directly related to taking action. If you're motivated, it's like the step before taking action. So a lot of times motivation is 4th chakra and action is 3rd chakra. So you can really want to do something, and that's, you have that desire in your 4th chakra, but then you're not doing it because you're blocked in your 3rd. If you're blocked in both, then you don't even want to do what you need to do. So so that final theme related part is we're going to work the difference between taking action and not taking action, and clearing any baggage around that, so that it's not baggage that dictates whether or not you take action on something. Because you can have like procrastination, where you're definitely not taking action when you ideally would. But then you can also have the opposite, where you have a lot of busy kind of energy. Sometimes you see that when people in communication, where people they just can't shut up. Like there's just like this nervous chatter. Like they can't let silence exist when they're talking to somebody. They just have to fill it with lots of words. So that's a baggage thing, where so that hopefully will be part of what's clearing when we're clearing the baggage between action and inaction. So there's that sort of over chattering, over communicating, but then there's also like workaholic or binging, like binging with food, where you just can't stop yourself due to baggage, or binging, watching shows too long, perhaps. Not that that's ever happened to me. So anyway, so baggage could mess up that action and inaction balance for you, in different ways. So that's another thing we'll work today. So there's that. So that's pretty much it. And then I will throw in some sinuses and lungs unblocking, which remotely relates to the theme, because heart chakra, lungs, heart chakra, respiratory system. If you're physically blocked, in or around your lungs and your sinuses, then it definitely affects your heart chakra, and so then it can lower your enthusiasm level, sometimes quite a bit. So we'll throw that in there. I mean, it's good to do anyway, though. I mean, particularly if your sinuses are blocked up due to your eating cheese and dairy too more than you could tolerate. But just for the energetics of it, we'll do it too. unblock sinuses and lungs. So at some point, I don't know when I'll put that in, if I'll put that in during the 5 essentials part or later on. But I'll make it its own heading whenever I end up doing it. Its own little chapter. So that's that. Let's see what else. I guess a quick sales note. You could think ahead if you wish and think about, gee, do I need or do my loved ones need the June twin set or the July sets? And if so, you're in luck. There are some spots available on my website. You could purchase those spots. The June twin set, I mean, it's just really good. 2 healings. Helps in a lot of general ways, but also, of course, it's this theme of heart, helping, reduce heart fatigue and increase enthusiasm and motivation. And then July, want to say it's a strong boundaries theme. I think it is, but I'm going to double check. Oops. Going to my website, jwhealing.com. I could go to the themes page, which lists all the themes, or I could go to the purchase page, because that's cute. The purchase page has all those pretty pictures, pretty thumbnail images. So the July theme, strong boundaries, presence, and flow. So you cannot go wrong with that. And of course, you could buy, all of them with a subscription. Your subscription, you purchase a subscription, then it just automatically purchases both sets each month. Alrighty. So that's enough of that. Oh, and new sets. The next batch of sets goes up on my website every month on the 15th, which is in 10 days from now. So that would be the August sets that go up in 10 days, which blows my mind that August is in 2 months. Finally wrapping my brain around that we're in June. We are in June. It is a good thing. So I'm going to take a quick look at chat comments. You can do like simple little things now, like where are you watching from if you want, or what's your weather like where you are. Our weather here is very nice now. Yesterday was pretty ideal. It was cloudy, and cloudy is ideal for gardening when you're transplanting plants into the garden. And it wasn't super hot, so it was very nice for gardening. I think lately though, we're going to be getting up into the 70s, maybe hitting 80 Fahrenheit. So that is, for the Celsius people in the entire rest of the world, 80 degrees, which we will get up to in the next couple days probably, is maybe 27 degrees Celsius or so. All right. So, hello, can see and hear you clearly. Well, that's good. Thank you. Hey, Janet, we can see and hear you in Chicago, 69 degrees Fahrenheit and sunny, a beautiful day. That does sound very nice. Someone says, hey, Janet, can see and hear you from sunny San Francisco, California in the U.S., 63 degrees Fahrenheit with a tiger emoji. That's a cute one. I don't know that I've seen that one before. And all sorts of other cool emojis. That's nice. It says, hello, joining from DC, Washington, the capital of the United States. We always need more good vibes there. Joining from DC, partly cloudy and 84 degrees. That's a little high for me personally, but not terrible. Just too hot to garden. So it says, hey, Janet, can see and hear you. Okay. Is heart fatigue synonymous with apathy and maybe hopelessness? Apathy, I would consider more of like, I mean, it's related to those things. It's like, yes, it's related, but not the same. So not synonymous. Apathy is like you don't care at all. If you're apathetic, you're just like, who cares? So that could be due to heart fatigue, yeah. But sometimes with heart fatigue, you can feel a lot, like apathy is almost like a numbness, whereas heart fatigue you could numb out due to heart fatigue, or you could just, feel like that things suck, or things are sad, or things are, like it's like a heavy thing, but it could come with numbness and apathy. Hopelessness, hopelessness we will be addressing actually with one of our themes, one of our chapters today. But again, it's not exactly the same. You can have heart fatigue. Hopelessness is a little more extreme, but it will definitely be addressed by one of the chapters that we do today. Hopelessness. All right. So we will do 3 minutes of quiet next. And towards the end of that, I will start the healing. And you'll see me go like that. That's how you know I started. And then after about a minute or so of me healing without talking, then the rest of the time I will talk as I heal, explaining what I'm doing as I do it. So you could use that as a self-healing walkthrough. Even if you're a motivated beginner or if you're an advanced person, it should be fun and interesting. Fun and or interesting. About that. I don't want to overpromise. Okay. So finally some silence. Okay, thanks for waiting. So, let's unblock your hand chakras. You have a big hand chakra in the palm of each hand, and you have fingertip chakras, one in each fingertip. And these chakras, like all chakras, generate energy. And if you set them with your intention, those particular chakras, to a metallic gold color, like this glitter, then just with your intention, you can do that. You don't have to be able to see. And since then the chakras are that color now, that's the color they're generating. So they're generating gold light, and that's really useful for healing. So you can use the gold light from one hand to wash out and unblock the other hand. So chakras, you know, they're like motors. And so if motors get clogged, they don't work so well, right? So unclog your motors. Just use lots of gold light and melt away the blocks in your fingertip chakras and your hand chakras. And you can do direct healing like that. Or you could do copies out in front of you of your hands and heal like that. It just, either way works. But for shoulders and arms, arms and the front of your shoulders, you could do direct like this. But for the back of the shoulders, which is pretty awesome to be able to heal and unblock the back of your shoulders, a copy out in front of you is really, I think, the best way. So you just make a copy of your shoulders, your arms, your hands, and your neck. You can make your neck and copy your neck there too. And just use lots of gold light and melt away any hard objects that are stuck, that maybe got thrown at you, that are stuck in your neck, shoulders, and arms. Just in case that happened. Maybe. And melt away any energy blocks in your auras around your neck, shoulders, and arms. You want flowing auras. Flowing auras are strong and protective. If you have a lot of stuck energy in your auras, then it actually kind of calls the external energy towards you, and people can cord the hard energy, and the hard energy, it breaks apart really easily if something's thrown at you. So then, so it's just not safe to keep a lot of heaviness, stuck energy in your auras. So just comb your auras around your neck, shoulders, and arms and melt away any stuck energy, any hardness. You only want your energy, only flowing energy too. Melt away the hardness around the front and the back and the sides of your neck, shoulders, and arms. I'm gonna have to do a wardrobe change here in the middle of the healing. Sorry about that. All right. So what we were doing is okay, so neck, shoulders, arms, and around your neck, like in your aura, like there's a V pattern that's common for energy blocks, and also like straight up above your shoulders. You can have hard plates of energy, so go ahead and check for that and melt them away. Straight above your shoulders, and then that V pattern area out from your neck and shoulders. Just unblock that. Ooh. The wardrobe changes today. Okay, good enough. Okay, so grounding. Let's do that. So redo, you can get rid of your old groundings, make new ones, make them both red or orange or yellow, make them big and wide as all your auras, and keep them wide all the way down to the core of the earth. And you can make a copy out in front of you of both your groundings. You have one for your physical body energy system and one for your astral body energy system. Your astral body is you. It's a part of you. You are not your physical body, but it's really important. So they each have their own grounding. And like I said, your groundings can be red or orange or yellow, both the same color. And just comb through your groundings with gold light from your hands and melt away the blocks. And it's okay if you can't see the blocks in order to melt them. It could be maybe it would give you more confidence, maybe, if you swept all the blocks together in one big lump and then focused your gold light on that until it melted. Sweep all the blocks together, focus your gold light on the big lump of blocks until they all melt. Sweep together the blocks in your grounding. Melt them all at once. Indie grounding is where you check the outer perimeter of your groundings. Run gold light through the outer surface of both your groundings all the way down to the core of the earth and melt away any hard objects sticking out, any hardness, any connections to other people's groundings. Just melt that all away. All right, good job. Okay, so this is a popular technique. Let's do it. So, invasive people room melt floor technique is an easy, quick way to get people out of your space. And hopefully a more lasting way because you're clearing the energy blocks that make it so easy for them to cord you and hop in your space in the first place. So, what you do is you imagine a room that represents your space. And it's an invasive people room because you're imagining in the room all the people that are in your space right now. And the floor of the room is the energy blocks that make it so easy for these people to cord you and be in your space. So these are energy blocks in your space. It's not their fault. It's just blocks in your space, right? But it makes it easy for them to be there, right? So how do you get these people out of your room, out of your space, right? You melt the blocks and that way they pop out and it's kind of fun. So go ahead and just melt the floor of the room. And as you melt the floor, you're melting the blocks, all the energy blocks that make it easy for these people to be in your space right now. So just keep melting until the floor melts and then the people pop out and the room can dissolve. Okay, so let's do that one more time. In case there's some leftover people. So make another image of a room and have it represent your space, all your space, body and spirit. And imagine the people that are in your space are in this invasive, you can notice them in the invasive people room. And then the floor, those are the blocks that allow them to be there in your space. And you just melt the blocks away with gold light. Lots of gold light from your hands. Focus it on the floor. So the floor melts, and then the people pop out, and you can dissolve the room. Good job, good job. Woohoo! Yay, good for you. Yay, you're such a rock star. Woohoo! Of course, you can repeat that whenever you need to. Several times a day is okay if you want. All right. So aura repair is a really fantastic thing to do. And sometimes you don't realize you need aura repair, but say your sinuses are blocked or your shoulder hurts or something. And the reason, and it's a good idea to start with aura repair because probably the external energy that has broken through to block up your sinuses or, you know, make your shoulder hurt or your tummy hurt or whatever, it all started with aura damage. And then the aura damage got so deep that then external energy was able to get in enough to damage a chakra or block up your sinuses or all the above, right? So aura repair, good thing. Let's do it. All right. So first, just imagine all your auras out in front of you. You have 17 auras, your physical body, your astral body aura, and then 15 Wei Qi auras. So physical body aura, astral body aura, 15 Wei Qi auras. Just imagine them all at once out in front of you. It looks like a big bubble, but it's really 17 bubbles. And you want to check for rips and just comb through your auras with your hands and gold light from your hands. And you can start just locally repairing like this. I actually prefer doing it this way when I have time, because then you can kind of learn and study it as it repairs up. But essentially, you're just washing everything out, removing hard objects, and washing it out so much so that, you know, and ask angels if there are any invasive beings in the way, can you recycle them? And just, you know, clean it out to the point where the gold light makes really good contact with the ripped surface, and then it'll heal back up. Right? So now, so you could keep doing that and just kind of find other areas that need repair and do it that way, like a local area specific repair. Or you could also then just, for any that you missed, do composite copy technique. So that's what we'll do now. So composite copy technique is where you make a copy and you have it represent a composite, have it be a composite of all the different rips. So you imagine a rip and say, okay, well, this is a composite copy rip. It represents all the rips in all my auras. And then go ahead and repair the rip. And as you repair that rip, you're repairing all the rips in your auras, right? So you have your composite copy rip, and then you want to clean it out, right? So you could use sticky gold wax, which is gold light from your hands that sticks to everything that's not you and forms a big lump. So fill it up with sticky gold wax so it sticks to hard objects, sticks to invasive people, invasive beings that are in this rip, and just lift all that junk out like a big lump. Angels, here you go. Sticky gold wax, lift out all that junk. Angels, here you go. So now your gold light should make really good contact with all the gashes and rips and everything as deep as necessary. And so just clean everything out and let the gold light start to repair. So then the rips should be getting less and less deep and just tinier, and they eventually, they're all filled in. Grow back. Auras grow back. Okay, so then the hardness, the aura hardness left over, there can be aura hardness either deep within your auras or at the surface. And it's important to get rid of that too. So you can make a big pile of all your aura hardness, wherever it is in all your auras. And so just hard, crusty junk. Say, angels, can you recycle any invasive beings hooked into this stuff? Deep breath while your angels do that. And then just wash everybody out, people out, melt their cords, melt your own cords out, melt your own energy out. And just keep melting this pile of aura hardness. Do that again. Any leftover aura hardness, angels, can you recycle any invasive beings hooked into this stuff? And then melt the people out, melt their cords out, melt yourself out. All that aura hardness away. All right, good. And just double check the outer surfaces of all your 17 auras. Make sure there's no little tiny leaks. If there are, just use extra gold light that they heal up. There's no more leaking. Sometimes there's kind of stubborn leaks because there are hard objects still stuck there. Angels, here you go. So grab the hard objects, give them to your angels. Angels, here you go. Angels, if there are any invasive beings in the way of this repair, can you please recycle them? Alrighty. And then you can redo your gold buffer zones, which are just big gold buffers that you make flowy, force fields of gold light that you make and attach to the outside of your astral body aura and your physical body aura. I do have a video on that. If you search Channel Wright gold buffer zones, you'll find it on YouTube. Let's see. You have gold mesh spheres within your Wei Qi auras. There are 3 of them. They wrap all around you. When they're repaired and cleaned off, they look like gold mesh all the way around you. There's innermost one, a middle one, and an outermost one for each of the Wei Qi auras. So just imagine all those gold mesh spheres and any ripped areas and melt the ripped. Just use so much gold light that they're no longer ripped. They grow back. And you could make a composite copy of all your Wei Qi aura rips and then just, repair the rips all at once in all your Wei Qi auras. All right, good job. Okay, so mostly we'll be working the creative rings right now, but we'll also add in some unblocking of your 7 astral body chakras and your 7 physical body chakras. And then right after that, we'll repair and unblock all chakras at once, including minor chakras everywhere in your body and spirit. But anyway, first we'll do creative rings. Those are 3 gold rings, 1, 2, 3. They're right above your astral body head. 1, 2, 3. They're gold rings. They generate gold light, and which forms a nice gold buffer right here, and it gets sent downward to nourish and help all your major chakras along your spine. Your 7 physical and 7 astral body chakras along your spine. So you make a copy out in front of you of your 3 gold creative rings, and it can be a big copy, a small copy, whatever works for your brain. And just use gold light and wash out everything that's not you. Melt cords from invasive people and invasive beings from your creative rings. I just thought of something that we'll do later. Anyway, so keep now your creative rings. This is what you don't want a creative ring to look like because there's the flaps sticking out. So this is an irritated state for your creative ring, any one of your creative rings, and it can happen if you have cords going in, pairs of cords from people or invasive beings, sending energy in that's not yours. It irritates the ring and the flaps pop out. Also, the fronts of all your chakras have rings like this, have flaps like this too. And so you don't want flaps sticking open, because once they're open, that means the chakra is irritated or the creative ring is irritated, and it's easier for more people to cord you and just like kind of sneak their cord right into the open flap there. So as we're working your creative rings, just melt the cords, unblock around the creative rings so that those flaps can relax and fall shut. Because you want your energy to be able to go through the ring, but you don't want people or beings to be able to cord your rings. Keep melting away all the junk. You say, angels, can you recycle any invasive beings screwing with my creative rings? You can have hard energy kind of caked around, stuck around the rings. Just use cold light and melt it all away. Sometimes, right in the back, like if it's a clock, 12 o'clock back here in the creative rings, is the most blocked up. All right, good job. So then you could do, you can imagine your creative rings and then all your major chakras beneath your creative rings. So 7th chakras are in the top of the head. They're oriented this way, where the basic chakra shape is an open cylinder, right? And the 7th chakras are oriented this way, and then 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 are oriented this way, with round opening in the front and round opening in the back. You don't have to know this, but 7th chakra is in your head, in the top of your head. 6th chakra is behind your forehead. 5th chakra is in the throat. 4th is in the chest. 3rd is below your sternum bone. 2nd is below your belly button. 1st chakra is at the base of the spine. Right? So I do have an email chakra handout. It's a 2-page email attachment if you want that, and that can remind you of the locations, what each chakra helps with, the ideal color for each one, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, so just imagine your creative rings and then chakra 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And they can look like just one set of chakras, but have it be that it represents both your astral body and physical body, 7 chakras. And you can use sticky gold wax, and that's gold light from your hands that sticks on everything that's not you and forms a lump. You can remove it easily. Just sticky gold wax your creative rings and all your major chakras along your spine. And then just have the wax stick to the junk and move out the wax and the junk all at once. Angels, here you go. Gold wax your creative rings and your major chakras. Move out the junk. Angels, here you go. Breath. You can say, angels, if there are any invasive beings messing with my major chakras, can you please recycle them? You can unblock above your creative rings as well. And again, as you comb through your major chakras and your creative rings, ask your angels, angels, can you recycle any invasive beings messing with my creative rings or my major chakras? Again, sticky gold wax, creative rings, major chakras, move out the junk all at once. Angels, here you go. Take a deep breath, breathe into your spine, breathe into your major chakras, wiggle your toes, in your toes. All right, good job. Woohoo! Yay, you're a rock star. Woohoo! Okay, let's change the scenery for kicks. Because we can. There we go. Some nasturtium leaves. Well, let you see. There we go. We can see a ladybug there too. That's nice. How about that? That's nice. I like that. Okay. So sorry, I'm getting a little OCD here. All right, cool. So chakra repair and unblock. Let's do it. So basic chakra shape looks like an open cylinder. We're going to repair and unblock using composite copy technique, all your major and minor chakras at the same time. Minor chakras include all your cool acupuncture points. Very cool. So just make an image of a chakra and say with your intention, okay, this represents all my major and minor chakras of my body and my spirit. And just use gold light to repair and unblock. Melt cords with the gold light. Any cords to anybody, except like if you have a young child, 12 years old or younger, just keep the first chakra cord to your young kids if you're the parent. But any other cord to any of their other chakras you could let go of, and any cords to anybody else, including pets, it'd be better to just melt the cords. And so you can say, angels, if there are any invasive beings messing with my chakras, can you please recycle them? The damage tends to be, around the round openings. It can look like cracks or missing chunks or gashes or scratches. So just use so much gold light that the cords melt. And you're melting the blocks and you're repairing the damage. You can have hard objects kind of clamped on, all around or just in one part, and you can loosen those hard objects up with gold light, lift them out, give them to your angels. Angels, here you go. Loosen them up, lift them out. Angels, here you go. Do some repair. You can lift the blocks out upward and then melt them that way. Lift the blocks out, melt them that way. And you can also unblock for any theme in particular. So today we're working enthusiasm, motivation, and reducing heart fatigue. So any baggage that's in the way of that theme, lift out all that baggage from your chakras. Say, angels, is it okay to clear all this right now? And then whatever's still there is good to clear. So you could blow it up or melt it with gold light, melt everybody out of it. Melt it away. So lift out the baggage in the way of your heart fatigue, increasing your heart fatigue, or baggage in the way of your enthusiasm and motivation. Melt everybody out of it, melt their cords, melt the baggage. All right, good job. Woohoo! You're a rock star. Do some celebratory butterflies on that one. Why not? Yay, good job, good job. Woo. Okay, let's All right. I'm gonna expand myself for this one. Okay. So this stuff is all, base of skull stuff back behind there in your auras. So good karma windows, those are located in your astral body aura behind your base of skull neck area, right back there. And there's a window, like a triple frame window in each of your astral body aura layers. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Right? And triple frame window, it looks like 3 concentric squares, which looks like this, roughly. Right? So that's a triple frame window. That's what the good karma window looks like. And that would be the first layer one because it's red if you have your first chakra set to red. So if they're all cleaned off and you have your major chakras set to the rainbow colors, red, orange, yellow, green, light blue, deep blue, purple, then your good karma windows would be those colors if they're all cleaned off and repaired. Just comb through these windows with gold light from your hands and melt away anything that's not you, including hard objects from other people. You say, angels, if there are any invasive beings in this area, can you please recycle them? You can imagine invasive people or invasive beings that have gotten through your good karma windows into maybe your base of skull points or your upper chakras. Just you can imagine like a sort of a twisted rope and just surround it all in gold light and lift out all that invasive energy. Give it to your angels. Angels, here you go. Lift it out. Angels, here you go. And again, any invasive energy that got through the windows into your base of skull points or upper chakras, just freeze it all. Imagine it like a rope. Drawn it in gold light. Loosen it up. Give it to your angels. Angels, here you go. You could have some invasive beings that are a little clever. And so once they see you're starting to work an area, they just kind of move away from it, but they still plan on coming back. So any invasive beings that were in this area that are just planning on screwing with you later, just imagine those and just saying, can you recycle these invasive beings? You can make grounding, make it red, coming up from the core of the earth, just for your base of skull area. This red grounding. Give yourself a little gentle massage there. Just remind yourself it's okay to let go of any energy that's not yours down that red grounding, down from the base of your skull all the way to the core of the earth. Speaking of base of skull, I have all sorts of very cool acupuncture points there. So let's work those. So the base of skull points, those are 2 rows of points. One at the top of your earlobe and one at the bottom of your earlobe. So those 2 rows, all those points there. That's what I would call the base of skull points. And they're all chakras, right? Acupuncture points are just chakras that are smaller. Very cool. Super cool. So they fit in the meridian and they keep the energy flowing within the meridian. So if the meridian's going this way, then the chakras like fit in there, right? So it's much tinier than this. So just unblock these guys. You don't want them to be crushed. You don't want them to be blocked up. You don't want the meridian itself to be too tight and restricted. You want red flowy. You know, red is a good color vibrationally for any of these meridians or acupuncture points. Again, base of skull points. And you can comb through the base of skull points outward towards the auras. So like put your energy hand through that base of skull area and comb outward and just gather up all the energy blocks and invasive energy and just drag it out. It's like a big lump. And then just say, angels, is it okay to clear all this right now? Angels, can you recycle any invasive beings hooked into all this junk? And then just melt people out of all these blocks, melt their cords, melt their energy, melt your own resistance out. And as you do that, the blocks should start to melt. If not, you can blow them up or melt them completely with cold light from your hands. Yoke. Again, comb through your base of skull area, drag out the junk. Angels, can you recycle any invasive beings in this stuff? And melt cords from people, melt people's energy out, melt your own resistance out, and melt the blocks or blow them up. All right. And especially GV 15 to 20. GV is that midline, it starts in the crotch, goes up the midline of the back and goes up and hooks over the head and ends near the roof of the mouth. So GV, that's governing vessel meridian, and it helps to manage all your yang meridians. So it's kind of convenient to work that one because then it helps a whole bunch of other meridians, right? So you can just, in the diagram, it's that gray line that's going up the midline of the back, right? So just, and 15 is that lowest base of skull point in that midline meridian right there, GV 15. So 15 and 16, those are the ones real close together, the base of your skull. And then GV 17, that's the one with the upper row of points there, right? So that's GV 15, 16, 17. You can do those first and just make sure they're all happy. Move to be red and flowy, right? And unblock your auras behind GV 15, 16, and 17. You don't want any blocks there. You can use sticky gold wax, and for all of GV 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, GV 20 is in the top of the head. So from 15 to 20, just sticky gold wax the whole thing. The meridian. Have the wax stick to anything that's not you. Hard objects, invasive beings, invasive people, energy blocks that are healthy and gentle to get rid of. And just move all that junk out. Angels, here you go. So again, sticky gold wax, GV 15 to 20. Have it stick to all the stuff that's not you. That's healthy and gentle to get rid of. Drag it all out. Angels, here you go. And then just do some extra repair. Stuff is gone. Couple deep breaths. Notice how that feels. Be in your hips, your knees, your ankles, your feet. You do some ankle rotations. Shoulder rotations. All right, good job. Good job. Woohoo. You're a rock star. One more time. Mm. Okay, so now we're starting the most directly theme related work, the 3 sections that I talked about in the intro. And this is possibly the most straightforward one, just because we have done healing flowers a million times in the past. So this is doing healing flowers to help you reduce your heart fatigue that comes from craving or longing or having unsatisfied desires. So that could be unsatisfied sexual desires, unsatisfied sensual desires, unsatisfied, companionship desires, unsatisfied desires for being out in the sunshine, for being on vacation, whatever desires that you have that just haven't been satisfied. And they can be fairly subtle. Like, you can have actual unsatisfied desires in a relationship that is otherwise, a decent relationship. So it's very good to do this. So essentially you just make energy healing flowers, and so go ahead and do that. Make a whole bunch of energy healing flowers out of universal healing energy, and they can be gold light, rainbow colors, or both. And you just use your intention and make the energy healing flowers that will help satisfy you. So what are you longing for? Whatever it is, and just make energy healing flowers for that. So you can have one giant bunch, and some of it is to help nourish you because of your sexual longing. Some of it's to help nourish you because of your longing for, stimulating mental conversation. Some of it's to help you satisfy your unsatisfied longing for, being out in the sunshine, whatever, right? So just make a whole bunch of energy healing flowers to help nourish you and satisfy any heart fatigue that you have because of craving or longing or unsatisfied desires. Okay, whole bunches of flowers, a whole bunch of them, right? And then say, angels, can you double check my flowers for me? That way they'll tune them, so it's a really healthy thing for you. And then go ahead and give them to yourself. And you can do like specific ones, like just flowers to help your unsatisfied sexual desires, any heart fatigue from that, or any heart fatigue from, not having enough sunshine in your life, literal being out in the sun type stuff. But it is also effective just to do them all at once. So we'll do another one all at once. So make a whole bunch of energy healing flowers for yourself, to help you nourish and heal your heart fatigue, help satisfy you, help heal any deficit you have because of your longing, your unsatisfied desires, right? And just make as many flowers as you need, and then say, angels, can you check my flowers for me? And then go ahead and give them to yourself. Nice deep breath. Let them go wherever they need to go. Okay, so we'll do that one more time. Of course, you can do it all day long if you want. You can just have automatic flowers every 5 minutes for yourself. But anyway, just go ahead and make more energy healing flowers, as many as you need, and have them tune them to, make them out of universal healing energy and tune them to a vibration that's going to help satisfy you, satisfy your physical touch cravings, your sexual cravings, your sensual cravings, your sunlight cravings, whatever kind of cravings you have. just, make a lot of healing flowers to help you nourish and restore yourself. And then say, angels, can you check my flowers? Hey, go ahead and give them to yourself. Deep breath, let them go wherever they need to. All right, good job, good job, good job. Woohoo! Yay! All right. So that was healing flowers to help you lessen your heart fatigue. That may be because of unsatisfied desires you have, unsatisfied cravings or longings that you have. So good job. Woohoo! Do some butterflies to celebrate that one. You're awesome. You're amazing. You can give yourself a hug. Say, I'm amazing. All right, cool. Mm. Okay, so this is a fun one, I think. It's another technique that's, I think, quick and easy, a way to get people out of your space, and I think a way to give yourself a little bit of a laugh too along the way. So, okay, you can shock people out of your space, but not by like screaming at them doing something that's jarring that could block them up or traumatize them in some way, because that's bad karma, right? If you were to do it that way, right? But there are karmically clean ways to shock someone out of your space. For example, the way we're going to do it now is you ask them a question. You think of somebody that's in your space and you ask them a question that kind of horrifies them, that they really don't want to talk to you about. And then they just flee your space because they're like, wow, I'm out of here. So sometimes it can be gender specific. It doesn't have to be, but that's the way I tried it so far, and it's super fun. So what you can do is think of, if you have a guy that's in your space, so it could be your dad or your brother or an ex or your spouse or whatever, right? And it's a male. You can think of them think of the part of them as in your space, and you're going to talk to them, right? And so again, this is a bit shocking, right? But that's the whole point. So just an example of how you can horrify and shock and they'll flee. So you can ask, say, your brother or whoever male is in your space, so can we talk about tampons? And they just go, tampons, female hygiene products, So you just ask them something like that, like, oh, can we talk about menstruation? And they're like, and they run out of your space and pull all their energy out really fast. And right where they do it, it's kind of fun. Like if your perception is good, you can like see this horrified look on their eyes get really big and they're like, and then they leave. So it's really kind of fun. So go ahead and try it again. So and you can do it with all men in your space at once. Just like imagine lining them all up, and they're all in your space, and be like, okay, can we talk about menstruation right now? If you have any that stay there and be like, okay, yes, we can talk about menstruation. And then just wash them out with cold light. Be like, no, I was kidding. I wash them out. So there you go. But if women are in your space, asking them to talk about menstruation might not be good enough to get them out of your space, right? Because, women, that's not that horrifying. It's a monthly reality for women. So that might not work, right? But I found one that's good though for women that you could use too if you want, or think up your own. But I thought of, okay, a term the term I thought of is vaginal dryness. And that's like kind of horrifying for women. Like the idea of like vaginal dryness. So you're like, so you imagine some woman who's in your space and be like, hey, can we talk about vaginal dryness? Chances are, like, you get this horrified look and then they leave your space. It's like, you go far away, back to their own space. So that's one you could think of. Others, if you want some topic that would horrify a particular woman that's in your space. But so we could do it for all women that are in your space at once, you know. So just imagine all the women that are still in your space, be like, hey, do you want to talk about vaginal dryness? Then most of them will leave like immediately once you ask that. But then there may be one or two who are like, sure, we can talk about that. And then just say, no, I was kidding, and just wash them out with your line. Get them out of your space. Or you can just say, no, I'm kidding, get out. Just wash them out. So that's how you can shock people out of your space in a karmically clean way. So you can try that on your own, see how that is for you. Good job, good job. So yay for people leaving your space. Woohoo. Oh, and I forgot to ask if you can consider giving this live stream a thumbs up if you're not horrified yourself. Too shocked yourself. Please give the live stream or the video later a thumbs up, because it helps. Alrighty. Let's see. Okay, so this is the second section. We did the healing flower section, and then this is the second section that's theme related, that helps with the heart fatigue. There'll be two different techniques, two chapters that they have to do with how you're reacting to external situations, with people, with the world, whatever. So sympathy blocks, it's like, you know, somebody else that you care about is in pain or in discomfort or having a hard time, and it kind of ties you up in knots inside, you know. It's just like, oh, you know, or, you know, it makes you feel quite uncomfortable knowing that someone you care about is in pain, right, or having hardship. So you can have empathy, you can be empathetic towards that person, kind towards that person, whatever, without all the internal discomfort and getting stuck as well yourself. So you just clear the energy blocks that get triggered when you're aware of that person's hardship, right? And so I'm calling that clearing your sympathy blocks. So let's do that. So you can make a big old blanket out in front of you and pile onto it any sympathy blocks that you have. Maybe you have sympathy blocks about, you know, people that are in a war zone, people that are having famine or you know, conflict, like in a war concept, or people that are being persecuted just because they're minorities, or people that are, or specific loved ones that you have that are going through sickness or other hardship. Just put out all your copies of all your sympathy blocks out in front of you. And then you can say, angels, can you recycle any invasive beings that are hooked into this junk? And then melt cords from yourself, melt cords from other people, wash everybody out of your sympathy blocks. So that the energy blocks then just start to melt away. And if they don't fully melt this way, you can just blow them up. Okay, so we're melting your sympathy blocks. Blocks that you have because you're aware on some level of hardship that other people are going through. Melt all those, right? So we'll do that one more time. A big gold blanket out in front of you. Put copies of any sympathy blocks that you have out in front of you. So if you're like tied up in knots inside about other people's hardships, just put all those blocks out in front of you and say, angels, can you recycle any invasive beings hooked into this junk? You say to angels, is it okay to clear all this right now? But usually they're going to be like, yes, yes, yes. So just melt it all away with gold light, melt everybody out of the piles, melt the cords, and melt the piles. If the piles aren't fully melting, you can just blow them up. A couple deep breaths. All right, good job, good job. So another, within this same section, another same sort of thematic group, another one that has to do with your reaction to external situations is clear holding your breath blocks. This is what I'm calling it. So this is like you're waiting on some level to breathe. You're like, okay, well, I'll breathe, I'll relax, I'll feel better when blah, 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 external thing happens. So it could be, you know, some like moms, they're like, okay, well, I'll relax when my kid gets into a good school, or when my kid's finally away to college, or when my kid finally gets a good job, or when my kid, you know, finally gets married, or whatever, you know, whatever kind of self-punishing delay thing you got going in your head. Sometimes, I mean, there can be practical aspects to it. Like, okay, when your kid goes away to college, it is potentially more relaxing because you don't have to deal with them all day. You know, you don't have to clean up their room and make them breakfast or whatever you're doing, right? But the holding your breath, like a lot of times there's a lot more to it than an absence of physical work. You know, it's like you're literally holding your breath, and spiritually you're just like, it's like you're just not breathing the way you need to, even, you know, with your kids at home or whatever, right? And the holding your breath blocks can be political too. Like I know one of my clients, she mentions, you know, the situation in the world is troubling to her. And in her country, she's not talking about domestic politics. She's talking about things in other countries, in some cases pretty far geographically away from herself. But, you know, she's a thoughtful, caring person. And, you know, she's not only did she have some sympathy blocks, but she has this even more, where she's holding her breath until, you know, there's peace in this situation, or politically some change happens in the other country, blah, 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 right? So you don't want to hold your breath. It's just not going to help the world. It's not going to help you, right? So you can clear the blocked energy within you that causes you to hold your breath while you're, you know, while these situations are occurring, right? So just big gold blanket out in front of you. So that was explaining. So let's do it. Do it. Okay, so let's do it. So make a big gold blanket out in front of you, put onto it any of your holding your breath blocks. And a lot of these can be subconscious. You don't even know you're doing it. Sometimes you get blocked up about you're waiting for something to happen, but it happened like 2 decades ago. You just didn't stop waiting. It didn't stop holding your breath for it, right? So don't worry about what, you know, just put all your holding your breath blocks out in front of you. They could even be from past lives where you're waiting for a certain situation to change and it never changed in that whole life. So you stayed stuck about it. So just put all your holding your breath blocks out in front of you and say, angels, can you recycle any invasive beings hooked into this junk? And then just wash everybody out. Melt the cords from people. Melt everybody out. Melt yourself out of these holding your breath blocks until they finally fully melt. And if they don't melt, or if you just prefer, you can blow them up completely. So let's do that one more time. And again, nice deep breath, right? So you're so because sometimes it's a literal thing. You're just and sometimes the literal thing connects to the mental thing too. So that's part of why deep breaths are so good. So put out in front of you any energy blocks that are preventing you from taking a deep breath, from just being more at ease. So put all those blocks out in front of you, any holding your breath blocks, and say, angels, can you recycle any invasive beings hooked into this junk? And melt cords from people going into these blocks. Melt their energy out, melt your own energy out. Until all the blocks fully melt. And if there are any left over, just blow them up. And if some still aren't leaving, just start destroying, just wrap them up in gold light. Give them to your angels. Angels, can you help me with these? All right. Great job, great job, great job. Oh, another one actually, I'll do a separate section for it because it's important and I didn't mention it. So you can be holding your breath regarding debt and financial issues, job issues. I'll breathe when I get a better job, or I'll breathe after I move, or I'll breathe after I pay off all my debt, after I pay off my mortgage. I'll breathe after I pay off my car. I'll breathe after I pay off my student loans, whatever it is. And that's not a good idea. It's good to breathe now. It helps your abundance. It helps you be present and safe and wise, which you need even before you pay off your debt, right? So this is an important aspect that you could work is so put out in front of you any so this is really the doing part of that. So so we're really doing it now. So go ahead and make a big gold blanket out in front of you and put onto it any copies of any baggage you have that makes you hold your breath until you paid off your debt, or makes you hold your breath until someone gives you money, or you win the lottery, or you have this certain amount of money, right? Or you paid off certain loans. Just put all those energy blocks out in front of you that make you hold your breath based on a certain financial thing, right? And then say, angels, can you recycle any invasive beings hooked into this junk? You can even say, angels, is it okay to clear all this right now? So then anything still there, yes, it's okay to clear it all right now. And use lots of gold light, melt away cords going into it from other people. Melt everybody's energy out of this pile of baggage that's causing you to hold your breath relating to money, finances, debt, etc. Jobs. Melt all the baggage. And you could also blow it up. And if there's any left over, wrap it up in gold light. Give it to your angels. Angels, can you help me with it? All right. Great job. Great job. Woo! Yay! Good job. All right. Okay, so I'm going to change my background. Okay, so what we're going to do now is we're going to clear energy blocks that cause you to give up. And it can be on a very big level. Like maybe you're, you want to give up on your whole life in some sort of a dangerous way. Or maybe just in a small way, like maybe you've given up on working on your love life, or having hopes and dreams for your love life. Or maybe you've given up on physical fitness. Maybe you feel like, oh, it's way too much work. Never mind. Maybe you've given up on putting your laundry away. So there can be big or small things and ways that you give up. And it's fine if you just decide like, well, that's not worth my time. I'm going to leave my clothes in the dryer and that's that. But if it's baggage, and burdens and, junk that's making you give up, well, that's silly. We can clear that stuff. So that way you don't have to be stuck and overly sort of defeatist and hopeless, right? I wrote stuck on passive blocks too, because it's sort of the same thing. Like rather than being active, you can be stuck in inaction and not doing anything. And it's the same idea. So let's clear it, right? So put a big old blanket out in front of you and make a big old blanket out in front of you and just put copies of all your baggage that makes you want to give up. Give up on small things, give up on big things, any baggage that causes you to be passive or inactive when that's not in your best interest. So put all that give up baggage out in front of you. And you can say, angels, if there's any invasive beings stuck in this stuff, hooked into this stuff, can you please recycle them? And you say, angels, is it okay? Is it healthy and gentle to clear all this right now? That way your angels will remove some things if there's too much to clear right now. That means anything that's still there, yes, is healthy and gentle to clear right now. So go ahead, use lots of gold light, wash gold light through all this give up baggage. And wash everybody out, melt people's cords going into the baggage, because it's easy for people subconsciously to cord your baggage without really meaning to. So just wash away the cords, wash everybody out, wash yourself out, your own resistance, your own fears, whatever. And just keep using more gold light until it all completely melts, or if you prefer, just blow it all up. And if you have any left over, wrap it up in gold light. Give it to your angels. Say, angels, can you help me with this? Okay, so we'll do that one more time. Big old blanket out in front of you. Put out in front of you copies of any inner baggage that causes you to want to give up. Anything that makes you unnaturally passive or, you don't want to do anything, right? So anything that makes you want to give up. And just say, angels, can you recycle any invasive beings hooked into this junk? And also, angels, can you, is this all healthy and gentle to clear right now? That way, anything that's still there, yes, is healthy and gentle to clear right now. So you can wash everybody out, melt the cords from people, melt yourself out, melt everybody out. And keep melting until it's all gone, or you could blow it up. All right, anything left over, wrap it up in gold light. Give it to your angels. Angels, can you help me with this? So this is, I would say, thematically in the same concept. It's just a little more broad. So whether to take action or to not take action, right? There can be healthy times to not take action, to just observe yourself, say through meditation. You know, in meditation and energy healing, you can just observe yourself for a while. You don't actually have to constantly be using your hands or gold light to change something. You can just watch the flow in your arms and your shoulders, watch your chakras and which ones are blocked and which ones are not, and just watch for a while. Because sometimes you might get to a deeper understanding. Maybe you're distracting yourself by being overly busy sometimes. You know, if you just observe your emotional state, the state of your mind, you know, sometimes you get to a little deeper if you're not, you know, taking action all the time. You know, it might not be true. Maybe you can just be really mellow and reflective while you're healing and taking action through energy healing. But that ability to decide, you know, have mindful choices about action or inaction in your life, you know, whether it has to do with doing laundry or, you know, tasks around the house or tasks for other people or your own self-care tasks or, you know, just your own thoughts. It's good to, you can clear baggage so that your baggage isn't sort of driving you to do or to not do. Okay. So you can make a big goal. So let's do that. let's clear the baggage. So go ahead and make a big gold blanket out in front of you and keep onto the blanket copies of any inner baggage that you have that affects your action or inaction. You know, either makes you act too much or too little or makes you whatever. You know, it's just any baggage affecting your decisions and your choices as far as action and inaction. And any baggage affecting your motivation around action and inaction. Right? So, and then just say, angels, is this too much to clear right now? Is this healthy and gentle to clear right now? That way your angels will check your pile. And then angels, can you recycle any invasive beings that are hooked into this junk? Deep breath while your angels do that. And then now you can melt cords from other people going into this baggage, melt them out, all their energy, wash their energy out of the baggage, melt your own energy out, and just keep melting these blocks until they fully melt, or you can blow them up. And if you have any left over, just wrap it up in gold light, give it to your angels. Angels, can you help me with this? So we'll do that one more time quickly. So big gold blanket out in front of you, put onto it any baggage that you have that affects your mindful decisions and your intention and your thought process and your motivation around taking action or not taking action, right? So all that baggage, put it out in front of you. Angels, is it okay to recycle, to clear all this right now? And angels, can you recycle any invasive beings hooked into this junk? And go ahead and melt cords from other people, cording into this baggage, melt their energy out, melt your own energy out, and melt all the baggage fully. Or blow it up. Any left over, wrap it up in gold light, give it to your angels. Angels, can you help me with this? All right. Woohoo! Good job, good job. Yay. Oops. Hey, good job. Alrighty. Okay. So we are nearing the end of the healing. We have 2 more little chapters to do and then the wrap up. But they're simple. Okay, so unblock receiving zones. We have done that several times in the past. And it's just acknowledging that you can receive your energy, bring in your new energy of growth, progress, positive change through all parts of you. So not just down through your 7th chakra, through your creative rings, through your 7th chakra, but also straight in through your shoulders, through the front of your body, up through the lower front of your body, through upper front of your back, lower front of your back. I mean, you don't have to separate them like that, but sometimes if you think of them separately and unblock them separately, then you can kind of see what you need to work on more, check them all. And the bottom receiving zone, basically, mainly you receive earth energy, which is really important. So, let's unblock your receiving zones. So just, so just imagine a copy of yourself, however you want, like this, like Akidoll, think of yourself, and unblock your auras. Your auras are receiving zones. If they're unblocked and flowing and whole, then you can bring in your new energy through them. They protect you, but then your new energy can come through. So just unblock all around. I'll tell you what I'm unblocking, but you don't have to do them at the exact same time I'm doing them. So I'm doing like above the shoulders, unblocking your auras above the shoulders so that you can receive fully. Unblock above the head and above the top of the auras, also unblock there. Not technically a receiving zone. Above the top of. And behind you, your receiving zones, in the back of your auras, lower body receiving zone, upper body receiving zone. Unblock your auras. Front of your body receiving zones, upper front, lower front receiving zone. And the lower receiving zone where you receive earth energy up from the core of the earth. All right, good enough. Good job, good job, good job. Okay, so let's unblock your sinuses and your lungs and your 4th chakra, which is in the center of your chest, which directly generates motivation and enthusiasm. So I'm going to show an image of the sinuses. There we go. Okay. So those are the sinus cavities, which are hollow parts of bones that you have. Interesting to me, at least. So the sinuses are shown. They're all the sinus cavities, which are, hollow pockets in different bones that you have. And then the big nasal cavity is the sort of the empty area. If you follow from your nostrils inward, that empty area, that's your nasal cavity. So we're going to unblock all of that. So we're in gold light. You can bring up red earth energy and soak your sinuses with red earth energy, orange earth energy, yellow earth energy. Bring it up from the core of the earth. Soak your sinuses. Red earth energy. You can leave it at red though. That's a little safer for body stuff. And unblock your sinus, comb through your sinuses and outward into your auras in front of your face and your head. And just comb through, drag out any junk that's not you. Angels, can you recycle any invasive beings? And then just melt cords from people, from these energy blocks. And then wash everybody out, and you can melt the blocks or blow them up. So again, comb through your sinuses, your physical sinuses, and that area of your astral body head. Comb through and get rid of junk, invasive energy blocks. The angels, can you recycle any invasive beings hooked into this stuff? And then melt cords from people, wash everybody out, and melt the blocks or blow them up. Deep breath, see how that feels. It is possible that if it's really not helping you physically with your sinuses, it's possible you have aura damage in front of your sinuses, like all your auras in front of your sinuses. They're important to protect your sinuses. So we just did aura repair, but we could just double check the auras in front of your sinuses. Just did, earlier in this live stream, but you can just double check, comb through all your 17 auras, right, all the way out to the outer surface of your auras. Make sure they're whole and flowing and just you. All right, and lungs. Let's unblock your lungs as well as your sinuses. You can do the same thing, comb through your lungs and your windpipe going down to your lungs. Just comb through all that, grab everything that's not you, drag it out. Angels, can you recycle any invasive beings hooked into this junk? And then just then you have energy blocks and maybe some people cording them, so melt the cords from people and melt the blocks. And you can blow them up if you prefer. So again, comb through your esophagus, I guess, is your windpipe. Comb through your esophagus and your lungs and drag out everything that's not you. And also that area of your astral body as well. So your esophagus and lung area of your physical body and astral body. Comb through those areas, drag out everything that's not you. Angels, can you recycle any invasive beings in this junk? And then it's just blocks and people. So melt the cords from people, wash their energy out. Keep using gold light to melt all the blocks fully. Or at that point, you can blow up the blocks if you prefer. Take a couple deep breaths, see how that is for you. Again, just like I said, for your sinuses, if your lungs are not opening up, you still feel a lot of tightness, it could be that you have aura damage or significant aura blocks in front of this area of your lungs and your heart chakra. So you could also have heart chakra damage too. But first, let's deal with the auras in front of here, and then we'll just do some extra heart chakra repair and unblocking. So comb outward from your neck and your chest area of your astral body and your physical body, comb outward through all those 17 auras and check for any rips, check for any big blocks. And just use so much gold light that the rips repair and the blocks melt away. You say, angels, if there are any invasive beings in this area, can you recycle them? You can have pretty significant blocks, sort of like, you know, like a cast iron skillet, like how heavy that is. You know, sometimes blocks kind of have that vibe of like, they're just giant and heavy. So if they're not clearing, again, just say, angels, can you recycle any invasive beings hooked into these blocks? And then melt cords from people out of the blocks. And then melt the blocks or blow them up. Take some deep breaths, see how that feels. So then now we'll do a little bit of fourth chakra repair and unblocking. So let's see, I'll just get the regular image. So now we'll do the fourth chakra part. Make that more obvious. Fourth chakra is really, really... Okay. So this is the basic chakra shape, right? Open cylinder. So your fourth chakra is in your chest. Round opening in the front of your chest, round opening in the back of your upper back there. Right. And so make a copy out in front of you, and it can be a composite copy representing both your astral body fourth chakra and your physical body fourth chakra, or you can imagine them separately if you want, because sometimes one looks great and one is like roadkill. If you separate them like that, you can notice like, whoa, you know, and sometimes the fabulousness of one, you know, makes it harder to notice the roadkill aspect of the other. So whatever, you know, it's up to you, but I'm going to imagine them together. So just use lots and lots of gold light and repair and unblock and melt cords. You say, angels, if there are any invasive beings messing with these chakras, can you please recycle them? Melt the cords, relax the flaps. Again, this is what you don't want. You don't want flaps sticking out like that. You have flaps around the round openings. And if there are pairs of cords from people or beings sending in invasive energy, it can irritate the chakra and the flaps pop open. And that makes it easier for other people to cord. So you want to melt away cords from people, ask your angels to recycle the invasive beings, and just keep on blocking and relaxing the chakra so that the flaps are shut. So it's like a smooth round opening without flaps sticking out. And that way your energy can flow through, but it's much harder for people to cord. So relax those flaps, melt the cords. You can lift out blocks that are messing with your heart, blocking up your heart chakra, and just melt them away with gold light. Lift out in a healthy and gentle amount to clear at once from your fourth chakras. Melt them away with gold light. So lift out fourth chakra baggage, healthy and gentle amount. Gold light to melt it away. Take some deep breaths, see how that feels. Now you have a fourth chakra river in front and in back, right? The front fourth chakra river is from your fourth layer inward. That's a flowing area right there. So I call that your front fourth chakra river. And then the back one is from the back of your fourth chakra to the back of your fourth layer. So that's the back fourth chakra river, right? So you can have energy blocks like right up against the chakra, or like right in front, or all along the river, right? So just think of your fourth chakras, think of your rivers, and unblock. And keep breathing. See how it feels as you keep doing your work. And you know, the direction of flow is inward like this, and then outward, and then it wraps around all around you, and then it comes inward again, right? So if you have, say you have a block right here, but so your fourth chakra is trying to pull energy through it. So it kind of like presses the block in so it can feel, you know, extra pressure there. So just lift out that block and melt it away. Lift out the block, melt it away. Take some deep breaths, see how that feels. Mm. Mm. All right, good job. Okay, so let's wrap up. We'll just do little quick things. Help you get some closure. So just imagine your everything, all your 17 auras, your physical body and your astral body are inside those auras, and both your groundings connect you to the core of the earth. Make sure both your groundings are nice and wide as all your auras. If they're not, just let them relax and expand so that your groundings are as big as your auras. Not as big as the room you're in, just as big as your auras. Right? So you can make a separate grounding for the room if you want, you know, so it comes up from the core of the earth, but that's not, you're separate from the room. Right? So use gold light and unblock your groundings. Wash through your auras, wash through all your chakras. Unblock above your head, above the top of your auras too. So empty USPs. USP stands for unprocessed stress pots, and it's a visual representation. You don't actually have stress pots, but it's an easy way to represent like your mental and emotional processing space. And if you're already kind of full, then you can't handle new stressors. So we want to help you process all the junk that you've been leaving around your mind so that you're ready for anything, right? So imagine all your unprocessed stress pots that you have, and just notice, are some of them overflowing? Are some of them empty? You want them all empty so that you're fully ready. You have a lot of, you know, empty readiness to handle anything new, right? So just run gold light through all your unprocessed stress pots. You can bring up a nice red grounding for all your unprocessed stress pots from the core of the earth. Melt away. You can melt cords from other people going into your unprocessed stress pots. Sometimes that can happen. So just melt everybody out of your unprocessed stress pots and empty the pots. Melt whatever's inside. Catch up on the processing. Okay, cool. And then STEBs stands for stubborn triggered energy blocks. So that's just any energy blocks that still haven't cleared, even though we've done a gazillion things. So put out in front of you copies of any energy blocks that are bothering you on any level, that are triggered in any way that you want to get rid of, and just pile them all up. And you can bring up red earth energy, ground them all in red earth energy. You can say, angels, is it okay to clear all this right now? And use gold light, melt cords from other people, cording into your STEBs, because chances are that's probably the main reason why they haven't cleared yet. You can say to angels, if there are any invasive beings hooked into this junk, can you please recycle them? And then you could blow up all the blocks or just continue to melt them fully with gold light. You could do that one more time. Put out in front of you copies of any leftover STEBs that you still have. Stubborn triggered energy blocks and red earth energy. Melt cords with gold light from your hands. Angels, can you recycle any invasive beings hooked into this junk? Melt the blocks or blow them up. And any that are left over, just wrap up in gold light and hand to your angels. Angels, can you help me with these? All right. So as we wrap up, you can just say, angels, can you please help me to help my heart so that my heart has energy and strength? Angels, can you help me with my motivation and enthusiasm? All right. Good job. You're amazing. Woohoo! Good job. You're a superstar. Woohoo! Okay, so I'm going to take a bathroom break, and during that time, I will get rid of the camera so that you can just see the nasturtiums and the ladybugs. So if you want to take a bathroom break, feel free to do that. When I come back, I'll do a quick stretch break for like a minute or so. You can watch me stretch if you want, and maybe it'll inspire you to do some stretching. Just whatever's gentle for you. And then I'll do 30 minutes of a comment period where you could comment on how the healing was for you. If you have any comments about the theme that we're doing of, heal heart fatigue, increase motivation and enthusiasm. If you want me to look at you, I would suggest though that you do it in like the most empowered way, which is, unless you're a newbie, in which case you could just say your question, whatever, if it's too complicated to think about this. But for people who know my work a little bit, I would suggest to do it in like a self-assessment style where you state your issue and then you state what your self-assessment is, like what you think is going on in your energy system regarding that issue, and also what you think you should do about it. If there's a certain chakra you should repair, or you should clear a certain type of thing, like say denial or avoidance, or whatever, like strategy that you think with energy healing that you could do. And then I would look and read it and comment on what I think, if how your self-assessment is, how accurate, and stuff to try to validate your process. So anyway, hope that makes sense, but let's do a bathroom break. To do rid of the camera. Just so that you don't stare at an empty chair all the time. All right, I'll be back. Oh, hi, I'm back. So I'm gonna stretch for a minute, and if you want to do some stretching too, that could be nice. You wanna? I mean, you don't have to, but you could. All righty, Rue. Hope you enjoyed your break. Okie doke. Hello, 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 hello. So, I'm gonna set my timer for a half hour so I don't go overboard. Da 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 da. Okie doke. Right, so now I'm gonna look to see what comments I haven't read yet. Someone gives me pretty emojis, thank you. Someone says, can energy wax to the heart chakra feel like my heart is racing and also feel like someone is causing my heart rate to increase, then return to normal? So it seems like you said the same thing twice. Can energy wax to the heart chakra feel like my heart is racing and also feel like someone is causing my heart rate to increase, then return to normal? Yeah, okay, I'm not going to get into the redundancy of that, but then, okay, wax cannot make it turn back to normal? So can wax, I mean, energy attacks can cause heart racing, yes. This one time, this one woman who had a big history in sort of like the dark arts in past lives. I thought I had to call the emergency. I thought I had to call 911, like emergency. My heart. This was decades ago, but I thought I had to call because she I guess she was really good at karmically negative things, and she and yeah, I thought I was having a heart attack, but I wasn't. It's just an energy attack. So yeah, wax can do a lot. It's not just to the heart chakra though, it would be to the auras, you know, because if someone's affecting your physical heart to that extent, your auras are screwed, like all around there, you know, all in front for that to happen. So yeah, and I mean your heart chakra, can they affect your heart organ without affecting your heart chakra? Probably not. It would probably be any major chakra in the area also got very, you know, to affect your organ that much, they would have to blow out your auras in front, many of your auras in front, if not all, and then your major chakras in the area and the meridians in the area, and just blow it all out. And then, yeah, you'd definitely have a difference on a physical level. And, you know, of course, people that know my work know this, but if you're just a newbie, it's like insanely bad karma to do even 1/100th of that to anybody for any reason. Doesn't matter if they deserved it. It's like you're really screwing yourself so much worse by doing something like that. So keep it clean, folks. Would be my suggestion. But anyway, yes, it's possible. Someone says, thank you, Janet. Feeling a little heavy, but calm. I think unblocking grounding and receiving zones more will help. I've been having a lot of struggles with loneliness and resentment towards friends, and it seems like longing flowers and the sympathy work will help, along with making sure my fourth chakras are generating enough energy. How did I do with self-assessment? It took a lot to shock my mom out. Nothing shocks her. That's funny. You can find something probably. If vaginal dryness doesn't, discussing vaginal dryness doesn't shock her, maybe discussing cancer might shock her enough, or discussing, let's see, ask her if she's ever had a threesome. I think that would do it. Ask her you'd like her to discuss her sexual history with you. Oh my God. Yeah, you can find something. Especially if it's a specific person. If it's all women, then, you know, maybe vaginal dryness, something general, you know, because some women wouldn't mind sitting in your space telling you their sexual history. I'm talking about threesomes. But, you know, if you know the specific person, then it's easier to read, like, okay, this is something they really would not want to talk about, you know. Or like taxes. You say, well, let's talk about taxes. Can you explain to me what you understand about the tax code? Okay, cool. Hopefully that gave you a lot of good ideas. But anyway, okay, so your issue was feeling a little heavy. Yeah, I think it just fourth chakra river, there's just some extra blocks because you're so much more present there now because we've been working all this stuff. So then the blocks that have been there, you just feel them a lot more. So fourth chakra river stuff. Now, the fronts of your fourth chakras are pretty okay. There's like sort of a like a jellyfish kind of being there. So it's not like a hard block. It's just like this moving clear stuff. That's a being. So those little jellyfish beings will get you because it's like if you're looking with your vision, then they look clear. But if you feel them, then it's like, okay, it looks like it feels like you know, like a gel implant for a breast or something, you know. It's like it's clear but mushy. Yeah, it's just a being. But anyway, okay, I've been having lots of struggles with loneliness and resentment towards friends. Seems like longing flowers. Yeah, I think the flowers could help a lot. The flowers for unsatisfied desires. Sympathy work about other people's hardships not as much of an issue. But yeah, the longing, sort of craving, unsatisfied desire flowers are good for that, for you. Yeah, I would say definitely making sure your 4 chakras are generating enough energy. That's a good angle to work. That's nice. Yeah. Okay, so hope that helps. And it was fun to try to shock your mom. uh, even though I love her dearly and I'm happy to heal her. Someone says, thank you, Janet. I sometimes use energy shock waves while melting blocks so I can make sure I melt them. I felt that it gives me a sense of being determined in my space. Is that right? Energy shock waves, that could be risky if someone's still cording the blocks, because then you just send a shock wave through the cord to that person. So that could increase backlash. So I don't know that I wouldn't recommend shock waves, just because, it could get you into trouble if someone's in the way of that. Get you into trouble meaning, increased backlash. But if you know, yeah, I mean, I guess if you get everyone out first, then sure, you could do that. Make sure everybody's out of the blocks first. Then that's fine. So yeah, depends. If you do make sure you get everyone out first, then that's harmless and fine. If it amuses you, go for it. Someone says, thank you so much. Joined a bit late. Well, you got the whole healing anyway, even if you weren't watching, so it's okay. I am feeling a bit of irritation, like a leave me alone feeling. It may have been related to coworkers, so I did the melt floor technique also while we did the sympathy part. The first thing I asked myself was, what if we don't have any empathy towards others? I think that is coming from inner child mom baggage, so doing a timeline technique would be good. Thank you. So, okay, if you don't have empathy towards others, because empathy and sympathy are like slightly different. Like, I mean, the way I use them, empathy is a healthy thing. It just means that you give a shit about the suffering of others. Like, that matters to you. Sympathy is where you get blocked up inside. So that's why we cleared sympathy blocks, where, you clear your inner blocks that happen because of your awareness of the suffering of others. If you have no empathy or not noticeable empathy, I would say that's a problem karmically, and it could slow your growth and not be as good for you healthy wise, just because, having empathy towards others affects how you communicate with them, and you could be more mindful in a way that's in everybody's best interests. And it's good karma for you. And, and then teaching your children is different. You have a different vibe to teach your children with and stuff. So I would say empathy is definitely a part of living a healthy life. So if your empathy response is less than ideal for you at this time in your life, then yeah, typically it's because of baggage. You don't have to worry about what the baggage is. You can just put the blocks out in front of you that are artificially lowering your empathy to unhealthy levels, and just keep clearing them. It would be good to do. Especially because you're a mom, and I mean, for many reasons, because you're a mom, but one of them is because being a mom involves so much giving that if you have empathy, then it makes the giving feel easier to do, and makes it feel more natural and less burdensome. A lot of people have empathy towards their children and maybe their spouse, but they don't have empathy towards other people, like, people outside of their family group, people outside of their nationality, people outside of their racial group. And so that is a real thing, and it's not particularly healthy for them or for society or for their own karma or whatever. So that's a thing too. You can have a lack of empathy for people that are not yours, your tribe. And that could be an interesting thing for us to work at some point. I don't think it's not really about the theme though, so maybe just at some point the angels will be like, yes, we're working on it today, but I don't know that we'll work on it this month. But it is interesting, and it's very common and not great for society, not great for someone's personal karma, but very common. So interesting point of bringing up lack of empathy. Yeah. Timeline technique could be very interesting for that. In fact, you mentioned timeline technique to clear baggage affecting your empathy towards other people and groups and cultures. Yeah, that would be great. Because then you could see timeline clearing is where you imagine a timeline and the present is at some point, and then earlier time in this life and then earlier lifetimes are also on the timeline. And you imagine the baggage that you need to clear as sort of like stacked up at a certain time. Like, okay, it's still baggage that I have, but it's from this life, or it's from this life, or it's from this life. So that could be particularly interesting, because there could be, a life, for example, where you were in a culture that was, your tribe was in vicious battles with these other two tribes, and they were vicious towards you guys and you were vicious towards them, and you ended the life with all those resentments and judgments intact, so all the energy blocks and the hatred and everything and the judgments, and they're still with you, so that it affects you now, but it's from then. So that's kind of interesting. It's not that you have to know that stuff though. You can just imagine all the blocks that are making you less empathetic towards people different than you and melt them away. And again, it's very good for your karma, to have empathy towards others that are different than you, as well as, your culture, your religion, your gender, gender. That's interesting too, because some people don't have empathy for, some women don't have empathy for men, or some women don't have empathy for other women. That's always interesting. There's all sorts of interesting permutations of lack of empathy. But it's generally baggage, and it's very healthy to clear any lack of empathy due to baggage. Good stuff to clear. So maybe the angels will work it in somewhere at some point. So yeah, interesting question. So yeah, and it's something you can clear over time, because there might be only so much that's healthy and gentle to clear right now. So you can just keep doing it. Put baggage out in front of you that's messing with lessening your empathy levels, and just keep clearing the baggage. So it says, thank you, Janet. Tuned in towards the end of the healing and immediately felt lighter in my chest. Nice. Yeah, because we were working, sinuses, chest, and fourth chakra at that point. I've been which is its own chapter now, so you could go, well, it will be within a day. I'll do the chapters by late tonight, and so you can redo that chapter if you wish. Generally, if a part of the healing really helps, redoing it over time is good too. Extra good. You're saying, I've been very stressed with kids, sickness, spouse, etc. Third, fifth chakras, I am sensing need work. Okay, great. So you gave a self-assessment. Yeah, so I would, somebody else mentioned that they could think about if one of their chakras is generating enough energy. So we could add that to we could sort of broaden your action plan there of working on third and fifth chakras, which I agree with. But, so not only unblock them, melt cords from them going into them, but also ask yourself, okay, is my physical 5th chakra generating enough energy? So it's like a big dishwashing machine in my 5th layer, and it's hard for junk to stay in there. That's not me, right? And is my astral body 5th chakra generating enough energy so that my astral 5th layer is like a nice big spiritual dishwasher, washing out all the negative thoughts and old arguments and whatever, so not only repair and unblock when you do 5th chakra work, but is it generating enough? That sort of, because if it's generating enough and it's repaired and unblocked, then you don't have to work more on it, right? But if it's not generating enough, like say you did repair it and you think you unblocked it enough, but it's not generating enough, well, then you didn't do enough. So you got to do more. 5th chakra rivers, 5th layer, a little extra repair, and now it woke up more and it's doing its job better. So are there other chakras that you could work extra? Your 7ths are pretty good, 6ths are pretty good, 5ths could use more work, you're right. And that would help with peace of mind too, mental clarity. 4ths, do your 4ths need more work right now? No. In general, like 2 days ago, did your 4ths need more work? No, they were, they could have used more work. Not that they were damaged, but they were blocked enough and corded enough that they weren't generating enough energy. So you can put 4th on your maybe list, for later in case it blocks out later. But right now your 4ths are fine. 3rd chakras could use a little more work. 2nd chakras are generating enough. Yeah, good job. 1st chakras could use a little more work. So you can add 1st chakra to your list too. But again, that's something intuitively that you can check, on a regular basis. So you don't have to go with, like 2 weeks from now, you don't have to go with that list. Just check, is my 7th chakra is generating enough? Physical 7th, yeah. Astral 7th, yeah. And just go down the list. Some point I used to do I write out, like little check, like 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and then one column for astral chakras, one column for physical chakras, and just put a check mark if I've checked them. And don't get too in the weeds about it, just do it quick and do a little work. I mean, if you don't have a lot of time, just be fast about it. You really don't have a lot of time, just do lots of gold light, up and down your spine as much as you can. But yeah, good job. I was checking to see if your unprocessed stress pots need to be emptied more often, but I think you're doing that. Maybe another thing you could do is, how like there's a gold protective force field where there should be a gold protective force field around your spiritual path. That could be another thing that you just sort of proactively check in with, to see if it's bashed in at any point. Because I think I don't know who does it, but it seems like somebody in your life is good at bashing through that. You don't have to worry who it is. Just lots of gold light, wash everybody off your path, and repair that gold protective flowy force field around your spiritual path, so that it's just easier to walk forward. I think for you and for many people, it's just really discouraging when you don't feel like you're making progress. You know what I mean? Like if it's hard and your life is challenging, but you're making progress, it makes it much easier. But if it's hard and your life has a lot of challenges right now and you feel like you're not making any progress, that it's like, it can be very demoralizing, and discouraging. So being able to, am I moving forward on my path? Like imagine a road that's just for you, wash everybody off, get your protective force field, the gold light around it, and see, am I walking forward, versus like standing still or like sitting overwhelmed on a bench, which is it? And if you're sitting overwhelmed on a bench and you feel that little part of you, and then just say, I'm going to let my angels help me to move forward, and just imagine holding your angels' hands so they can guide you forward. So that even if you can't see your way forward because you're too blocked, just be like, I'm letting my angels walk me forward. I am letting my angels walk me forward, just so that, you can make progress. And that way, you're progressing. So it's more uplifting, even though You have challenges. Hope that makes sense. So spiritual path stuff. Let your angels walk you forward. Wash everybody off. Repair their protective force field. That could be, I think, especially nice for you. When the challenges, well, just proactively, even when you feel decent. Alrighty. But especially when you don't feel decent. Someone says, hi, Janet. My sleep hasn't been as deep this week, and my mood is a little off. Immediately think of your sister sitting in your lap. I am self-assessing that I'm having boundary issues with my sister. Yes. Probably aura damage, and she's telepathing me a lot. Is this her being a backlash person, or maybe there's some other resentment this week? I think your sister, it's hard for her, because I was talking to her just now while I wasn't doing anything, seemingly not doing anything. It's hard for her to understand that you're moving forward in your life because of your own hard work, and not that your father is giving you special treatment, or your mother loved you more or something. Like, she tends to make your progress about her and something unfair towards her. So I was trying to explain to her that, if anything, your father is holding you back and not helping you to move forward. So there's no like unfairness about it. But it doesn't pull her out of your space. So maybe just go for those like shocker questions, like ask her to discuss vaginal dryness with you or something. Ah! Oh, that will never not be funny to me. Some kind of just horrible question, or ask her to discuss taxes with you, whatever like is more unappealing for her, like do the rather than be like, okay, get out, be like, hey, let's talk about it, some topic she would hate, so that she's like, it's like with a cat. You have to make a cat want to do what you want it to do. You can't actually just tell a cat what to do, because its nature is to be like, I'm going to do whatever I want. What you want is not so relevant, so you just kind of find a way to make what you want the cat to do the most appealing thing for the cat, so yeah, I would try to do this shocking discussion questions with your sister. Because yeah, she just seems to be otherwise very enamored with weighing you down and making it about her. I don't think there's anything new. It's just that's just the way she is. But yeah, I would say it's largely just your sister in your space being needy and resentful. Okay, someone says, thank you, Janet. I felt a lot of fatigue before and during the healing. Generally feel low. I think it must be, and you did a self-assessment, good for you. I think it must be my parents in my space. Mind garden techniques should get them out, and also for basics. Well, I'm so happy that you went to a self-assessment about it. Good for you. I agree with your self-assessment that it's your parents Your sister is sitting this one out, so it's not her. Is it more your dad or your mom? Your dad, it's both. Your dad's in the front of your space, your mom's in the back of your space. What about I want to see the shocking questions with them, like how would that work? You know, like what's going to horrify them? Like I tried one, but it only worked with your dad and not your mom. That's so funny. I didn't really do it. It was like a hypothetical because I don't want to get involved in you and your parents, you know. But I did this hypothetical where, you know, it was like you ask your parents like to discuss maybe that you're a lesbian, you know, which of course is horrifying for them. You know, not that it's inherently horrifying at all. It's wonderful and natural, but not to your parents. So it got your dad out of your space, but your mom, she stayed in the back of your space, just like, think of children. You need children. So that really didn't help at all with her. If anything, it made her be in your space more. So never mind. That's not a good one. Let's see. What would be good to get your mom out? Yeah, I think the vaginal dryness thing might get her out. Maybe asking her about her own sexuality and her sexual desires, and could she explain them to you and describe them? That gets her out. It's funny. So, but Mind Garden would work too. So I agree with your self-assessment. All right. I think, you know, it's like sometimes you let them in, sometimes you let them stay in your space and sometimes you don't. You know, like sometimes if they cord stuff, like actually one thing that you could redo that we did today is that the give up blocks. It was like the chapter will be called give up / clear give up / stuck on passive blocks. And you could do the heck out of that one. It'll be its own chapter, you know, by late tonight. But because it's like when they cord the very blocks that make you want to give up and just drown in a puddle of hopelessness, then it's very effective. And you're not like, oh, I'm just going to clear them out, you know. But if they're cording something else that doesn't like kind of freeze you and make you, you know, drown in despair, they're cording some other kind of block, then it just doesn't work as well these days, and you clear them out and you're like, oh, okay. So those are blocks you could especially clear then, you know, the give up blocks, the hopelessness blocks, you know, because those are the ones that they can sit on and just like stay there all day, and you don't clear them out because you feel hopeless because they're in your hopelessness blocks, you know. And so then you're like, it's hopeless, there's no point, I can't do it, you know. So yeah, proactively clear hopelessness blocks, you know, and ask your mom about vaginal dryness, her own vaginal dryness. If you ask her about your vaginal dryness, like as if you have any, then she'll just worry and be in your space. But ask her about her, you know, desire levels at this time in her life, and she'll just be like, psh. All right, cool. Hope that helps. Someone says, thanks, Janet. I feel compressed at the back of my heart. I am scared to be present there. The back and the bottom of my first layer is blocked, and I suspect there could be scar valleys at the back. Okay, so you're mentioning a certain type of baggage affecting the back of your heart chakra and the back bottom of your first layer, scar valleys at the back. There is, I see what you're saying about the the back bottom of your first layer being blocked. I don't think it's so much scar valleys. I think it's if you look at like astral body aura versus physical body aura, it seems to be much more in your astral body aura. So then if you compare like all the Wei Chi auras to your astral body, it just seems like astral body aura. It's not ripped up, it's just big blocks there that I think there are a couple invasive beings courting the blocks, which is why they haven't cleared. So you just imagine the blocks, ask the angels to recycle the beings, melt the people out. Your mom is courted into those blocks, so get her out, get your daughter out, and then the blocks should clear. So beings, mom, daughter, or just beings and all people. Just get have your angels recycle beings, melt the cords, and then melt the blocks. But yeah, I don't think it's scar valleys back there. But as far as like abuse baggage you referenced, I think with those initials, I mean, I think, you want to clear baggage to the extent that's healthy and gentle to do. So I think there's never a time when you can't clear any baggage, so just clear what's healthy and gentle to do. And if it's healthy and gentle, then it's healthy and gentle. So there's no need to freak out. If you can't clear any, then somebody's in your space, a being or people or something, because not being able to clear any baggage, especially at your stage of being able to work your energy, is not like accurate perception. You know what I mean? Like you're somehow, it doesn't really add up right. Something's affecting your decision making. Something, not you and not your angels, is affecting your decision making, because there's always a healthy and gentle amount that you could clear. I hope that helps. Someone says, "Hi, Janet. We talked about my health. I've been asking my angels for a lot of help lately. From what I can feel, they've been working extremely closely with me as I'm going through all these health issues. Are they saying everything is going to be okay and reassuring me? I feel like they are, but for some reason I think I'm blocking them." And I have to scroll down. Oh, yeah, because it continues. I'm also picking up that I have a severe 7th layer issue that is causing basic boundary problems with people. It might be the cause of the dizziness and the trouble that I've had with concentrating. Oh my God, it goes further. Another interesting thing is my mind is only quiet when I'm doing things like exercising. There is so much restless, invasive energy, not sure if it's from people or beings. So, I mean, that is really good that you've learned that your mind is quiet when you're exercising. It's not uncommon that there will be some kind of activity that's just so centering that it reminds you that there's hope. You know what I mean? Like that used to be many decades ago, basically, when I got acupuncture. That was it for me. I was like so balanced and so, ready for anything and steady. And so then I knew like, okay, well, I can aim for that state, when I'm meditating, and aim to be able to be that steady. So now how I feel now today, every day, is even better than I felt then after acupuncture. But you know what I mean? So it can give you like a goal, that I want to feel that good. I want to feel, as good as I feel while I'm exercising, I want to feel that good all the time. So I'm going to work towards that with my meditation, with my, eating, with my lifestyle, with my affirmations, with all sorts of things, So it can be, I think it can, you can turn that into a real positive, I mean, in addition to the fact that you're exercising, which is already really positive. But just as far as like a goal, and something to work towards. Because even if you don't know how you're going to get there, having the goal can be very powerful on a spirit level. But anyway, are your angels reassuring you? Yeah, I mean, I think they have like a sort of a 3-part thing that they're trying to emphasize physical activity. They're trying to emphasize sleeping hours and sleep cycles and how much sleep you get when you sleep, and then like times of day to meditate and amounts to meditate at various times of day, and just kind of reflecting upon certain situations, like social situations with people, certain relationships, and how they're affecting you. And just to kind of, they're like, be more honest with yourself. Like, because sometimes you think something's not bothering you and it is, but you don't really want to acknowledge that something's bothering you because you feel like, well, that's weird that would bother me, but sometimes if you acknowledge what bothers you, then you don't have to like turn it into a confrontation with someone else. You can journal about it and see, well, okay, because it reminds you of this childhood thing, or it must be a past life baggage thing because it doesn't really add up, and so it's okay that things that you feel shouldn't bother you do bother you. You can still work on it through journaling and, in personal, private ways, constructively. So I think that's kind of the stuff that as far as physical stuff, are they wanting you to go see a practitioner that you're not seeing? Not right now, it looks like. I don't know if you did already, or they're just want you to do other stuff for the moment or what, but that's something you can check in with them, on a regular basis. Like, is there a physical based practitioner that I should be going to that I'm not, or do they feel like, keep doing what you're doing, that kind of idea. But anyway, you mentioned, it was a really long comment. You say you think you're blocking your angels. You could do that. There's that little short video where you can melt the wall if there's any baggage between you and your angels. I think your hearing is okay lately with them, but it's always good to do that, clear baggage in between you and your angels. Blocking you from receiving help and advice from your angels on conscious and subconscious levels. I think the short video for people that needed a walkthrough, it starts with like angel help or something. Let angels help. It's a quick little 3-minute video, I think. In the short video playlist, which is featured on my YouTube channel page. Okay. Someone says, I also have a work person, initials, and you mentioned their initials, that I always pull out of my space when I put invasive people out in front of me to talk to them. He seems to just fixate on what I'm doing at work a lot. Yeah, I would ask him to help you discuss and decide about, hygiene, feminine hygiene products. And watch him run really fast away from you. Because it's subconscious, May as well have some fun, get him out. You can let me know how that works in the survey if you want. If that one doesn't work, try other ones. But, I think vaginal dryness or tampon discussions would do it. Subconscious telepathic. Don't talk to him out loud about it. Someone says, oh, that's just a continuation of something else. He's scared. Yeah. So yeah, this other person said, being scared could be beings or other invasive energy that's in the way of me owning my body. Yes. Yeah. So the whole scared, I'm scared to work on it, therefore I won't. It's just, beings and people tricking your brain, because there's always great ways to work on it, both through stretching as well as, energy healing, either direct or using a copy or, a blanket exercise, healthy and gentle amount of baggage. There's always good ways to work on even, the most traumatic things, because you're just doing a healthy and gentle amount. You say, angels, help me to do this in a healthy and gentle way. Healthy, gentle, empowering way. All that good stuff. Someone says the sexual history thing, worked well to kick out my mom. LOL, threesomes kicked her right out. How funny is that? I love that. I love that. You know, some people, you know, if I was in someone's space and they said, well, let's talk about threesomes, I wouldn't mind talking about threesomes. But yeah, for many people, that would be a horrifying thing to have to discuss. So yeah, that would get them out. It's so fun. So fun to find out what horrifies people and try to talk to them about it while they're in your space. So fun. Someone says, thank you for the feedback regarding empathy. I think it is past life baggage as you were going over with it. Yeah. I felt like I freaked out internally. Yeah. I do have empathy, but it can definitely be enhanced at times. Yeah. Yeah. Interesting stuff. All right. Well, cool. I did go over the time I wanted to go, but that was fun. Oh, I have two little show and tell things, I guess. Well, yeah, sort of two quick ones. Right, let's see. So the first one is plants. Okay, so plant and garden update. So this is the time of year when many of the plants that I have grown, you know, the starts that I grew from seed in the house are ready to go in the ground like all at the same time. And in previous years, that has really gotten me kind of freaked out. But this year, my goal is to really take it in stride and just be zen about it and not go into guilt or freak out and just like have my motivation, but also have my mindfulness and consider other life issues and, you know, whatever. So I am doing much better than previous years about that. I mean, first of all, I didn't grow 10 times more plants than I actually need. So that helps. I grew maybe like 15% more plants than I need. So that's not so stressful. So then I could just, you know, if one isn't as healthy, maybe I won't use that one or, you know, whatever. But so that's good. So on the porch, you know, all ready to go in the ground, there's like maybe 4 different trays of plants, 18 each, you know, and then which is a lot, you know, but it's actually better than the year before. And like, because I only have 18 tomato plants that need to go in the ground, and I was yeah, do I really have 18? Yeah, I guess I do. Yeah, because I was gonna plant like 14 at least, you know, 2 cherry tomato plants and then 12 regular tomato plants. But then there's, you know, so that's 14, but then I really have 18. So do I plant the other 4? Do I not? We'll see. But at least that is not like, because last year I had like, I think I had like 70 tomato plants. I mean, it was really insane because whatever, I guess suck. So anyway, things are better. So far getting in the ground, I have gotten in the ground some kale plants, which are very traumatized because, long story, they are very old. They were in pots for a long time and they were, I used this fertilizer that I shouldn't have used, but nobody told me. Like, there's nowhere that I read that said that, but it encourages fungal growth. Fungus is healthy and it helps the roots grow. But if it's a potted plant, it doesn't have a lot of root space. So if you use this particular like stuff that helps the roots, it helps them too much, and then it gets pot bound in like way faster than it would otherwise. So those kale plants have been pot bound for like months now, and I didn't, you know, plant them. So anyway, so I planted almost half of the kale that I have to plant in the ground finally. So now I have the other half of the kale to plant, and then I have all the other stuff, you know, lots. So that's pretty much all I've gotten in the ground so far. I've done weeding, you know, different weeding. I didn't want to do too much weeding early because then you have bare ground, which is not good. So, anyway, but I'm kind of, you know, I'm getting into the swing of doing the gardening. I had sort of gotten stuck about you know, because our dog is epileptic, like he can have seizures, and thankfully now we have him on such a tighter medication schedule, like every 8 hours on the dot. He gets medication for seizures, so seizures are much less likely for him. But I had gotten really stuck about, oh, I can't leave him and go out gardening because then he gets all worked up because he's overly bonded to me and that could stress him and maybe he'll have a seizure and I won't be there. You know, but I'm getting over it. So I have been able to go out and garden in the last couple days. So I'm heading in the right direction there with the gardening. Less neurotic, more active, more mindful. So progress. Oh, wait. So one of the types of plants that's still indoors that doesn't need to go out quite yet is beans. I start the beans inside. Sometimes I do them outside as well. And then the ones I grew indoors are just like the backups when the slugs and animals destroy, say half of the ones I started outside. But this year I didn't start any outside, which I don't know if that was smart or not. I could still do that. But I did start a bunch indoors. So I wanted to show you that. So these are bean plants. And really I just need one per pot. So I'm going to either have to like murder one of these. You can tell I'm neurotic about this. I'm going to have to, allow one to no longer exist. So that the other one has enough room and doesn't get stunted. But I could, at this point, maybe I could break them apart and plant one separately, but I don't really need another one indoors. Like, and they're a little young to go outside like this, because then the slugs and everything would be like, oh, yum, yum, and eat them, and they would be dead, right? But if they're bigger than this, then the bugs can't do as much damage, and they're not as tempting to the bugs. So I might have to just pick the winner and cut away the loser. So that's as you can tell, listening to me, I get a little stuck about that. But they look cute. But this is the first day that they're up like this. Yesterday they were like poked out of the soil, but not up with leaves. So they made a lot of progress in the last since last night. Kind of exciting. Cute. Okay, so that's enough about plants and garden. So then Izzy. So with Izzy, I don't have a lot of news with him, although he has been a little low energy lately. So that could be some kind of he is senior. So sometimes the energy level stuff, is like indicative of, they're getting on in years and, whatever. So whatever, but he's fine technically. It's just that in the last couple of days, he's been much lower energy. So who knows? But right now he's fine. He did manage to mess up a spot on his back leg, but that's healing. I treated it. It's healing. So I can show you him, but he's asleep, which again is like, usually he's pretty restless by now, but he's not. He's asleep. So I'll show you him. So there he is. He wears a cone so he doesn't mess with his back leg and just in general so he doesn't mess with himself. But in a way, like the cone helps him sleep better, I think, because it blocks out the light. There are like clear parts of the cone, but I think when he sleeps, he manages to like sleep so that the cone blocks out his light nicely. So anyway, that's our boy. He's a cutie. Oh, and our girl BoBo Kitty. We don't really have much. I don't really have much news about her right now. So she's cute. She's still not very Sorry, my camera angle is a little weird, but it'd be too much work to fix it. I had something keeping it in the proper position, but anyway, good enough. Weird camera angle for the last minute. But anyway, so BoBo Kitty, she makes really slow progress, but she is adorable. And so she likes chasing around like a light sometimes. I'll use one of those laser lights with her, and she'll chase it up and down the hallway. So that's cute. She still doesn't like when we stand up or move. But we're seated, she can come near us. If we're seated and she knows Izzy is in his cage, and his kennel, and it's closed up, then she can walk around. So she's really adorable. All right. So I hope whatever you're doing, you have a good morning, afternoon, evening, whatever's next for you. And the next 2 healings in this set, the second and third healing of this triplet set, will be more spaced out than usual, right? So this is our new normal, most likely. So today is Thursday, and then the second healing is not in 2 days, but in 3 days. So on Sunday, Thursday, Sunday, and then Wednesday. So they're more spread out. So I would like to know how that is for you. You can put that on your post-healing survey. If you're someone that I'm healing, that purchased the healing, you will be getting a post-healing survey in the email. And you can let me know in the survey how this is for you. All right, you're amazing. Bye. Let's see, we'll do some butterflies. Bye, you're so amazing.